Should we dance on the moonlight? Should we dance on the moonlight?
Hello everyone, in this video we are going to rank some K-pop logos. Some weeks ago I watched a video with this concept by Eunice. I will link it down in the description for the people who want to watch it, since we do have a different opinion on some logos, so it might be interesting to compare. I thought this would be a fun video for me to do, since as some people might know, I am a graphic/visual design student. I do think I view logos differently from most K-pop stands and my take on them might be interesting. I also want to add logos, and people's opinion on them differ a lot depending on where you're from. I try to give an explanation from my professional point of view as much as possible, but when it comes to things like this, a big part is also just personal taste. And I'm sorry if I sound a bit crusty, but I had to record this on my phone. I think the name of this tier makes it quite clear, but this is mostly logos I think could use a little bit more spice. I'm not saying these logos are bad or anything, most are just a bit old-fashioned in my opinion. First up we have Fix and BIP. I know BIP is disbanded, but we all know their logo belongs in this tier. I put these two together because both of them have this character design thing going on, which I personally am not really living for. I wasn't sure if Fix is still using this one or completely switched over to the font only one. If they haven't done that yet, they should. But these types of logos are very hard to use in a design because they are already so complicated on its own, and if you aren't careful enough with these type of logos, it will just take away all the attention from the actual design. Moving on to both A-Pink and Oh My Girl. Both logos are fine, they just give me innocent rookie vibes. And with A-Pink going for more classy concepts lately, I would like it if they got a logo that matches that feeling. Same for Oh My Girl. While their songs still have that cutesy vibe, it definitely has gotten less. And instead of cutesy, I would say their songs are more playful rather than cutesy. And the members themselves are also getting older, so they are also losing that innocent vibe, I would say. So their logo could be something less sweet in my opinion, if that makes any sense. Next we have Pentagon. I'm not saying they should get rid of the Pentagon because that's their name and their whole brand, but they should make the shape into more of a pentagon and not whatever this shape is. Plus the overall vibe is very old-fashioned and second gen. Cube should really give them something more modern and fun, and looking at their Love or Take marketing, Cube knows what they are doing. They just aren't doing that for Pentagon's actual logo, which is definitely a shame, but it's also cute. Here we have K&K's logos. It's very big and bulky. Their logo doesn't really match their concept. They always go for something more classy or refined, and this logo doesn't look classy or refined. Next we have Block B. Something about Block B's logo always makes me really hate the logo. I don't know why, but it just really looks like one of those old-fashioned racing logos, and I'm not a fan of cars or car racing, so yeah, this is not something I like. And lastly for this tier we have GOT7. Let me just say, there's a reason why they always use it very small and somewhere in a corner. The fact I gave SM their own tier is kinda sad. Let's start with aespa. I think that's how you pronounce it. But we're back with the car logos. I was gonna put this in the time for a change tier, but since aespa are still rookies and just had their debut, that seemed a bit much, but they should definitely not use a logo that looks like a car logo. And then we have Super Junior's logo. I mean, I get the idea, but it's very cheesy. With Girls' Generation's current logo, the only thing I want to know if SM is serious about this. It definitely looks cute in their light stick, but to use it as a logo, they could have thought about something better. And they had something that looked really cute before, so I don't really get why they switched that over to this. Yeah, I'm just really confused about what happened with Girls' Generation's logo. So I wanted to include SHINee in this, but I don't even know what SHINee's official logo is. They had this going on for Don't Call Me, and they have something else for their repackage, but I have no clue what their main logo is. So for NCT, I don't think I really need to explain why this logo isn't it. The NCT 127 looks pretty decent with this font, but just having the NCT isn't a good idea. It looks like a very big square, and it's also hard to read. If you choose to only use a font, at least make it readable. Lastly, in this tier we have EXO, and please don't get me wrong, I love the fact EXO changes their logo every comeback. There are definitely some pretty good ones, but quality over quantity in this case. Some just aren't gonna do well if you use them on a website or whatever design you wanna put them, but at the same time it also doesn't really deserve to be in this tier, because again, they have some pretty good ones. The more I look at EXO's logos, they aren't logos, so I'm always very conflicted about what to think about their logo, because they look more like pictures than logos. In this tier we basically have the logos I find questionable and don't really know what to think about them. Let's just start with day 6, and I already know people are gonna ask, why are you putting day 6 here? Because that's a pretty good logo, and I definitely would agree with that if it wasn't for the fact I'm Dutch and the logo of a big Dutch TV channel looks like this. I'm not here to call out any plagiarism, since I highly doubt a Dutch TV channel knows about the logo of a Korean band, and that whoever in JYP made day 6 logo knows about the logo of a Dutch TV channel. But I can't look at one without thinking about the other, so staying with JYP logos, we have Stray Kids. I know this is Chan's handwriting, so it does have a deeper meaning, but the logo only really looks good when it's big. Making it smaller makes it look a bit more weak and unreadable, but on the other side, when you actually have it big, it looks really good. So yeah, again, kinda unsure what to think about this one. My opinion about Stray Kids logo is quite similar to the next logo of GWSN. Again, when you have it big, it looks powerful, but when you have it small, you don't know what it is, and you can't really see what is the logo. It also took me a while to understand that the logo is a compass. So for Lovelyz, I had the same problem as I had with SHINee. I don't really know what their official logo is. If I Google it, this badge shows up, but also a couple of other ones, which they apparently use for all their comebacks. When I go to the Instagram and Twitter pages, they use this. So I'm like, if the last one is their current logo, it's definitely a big downgrade in effort. And lastly, we have CLC. Sometimes I really wonder what is going on in the head of Cube employees. The more I look at it, the more it starts to look like two bulging eyes with a very sharp pointy nose. The spacing in this logo is all like spacing we don't know her. I definitely get that they had to change their old logo because it didn't really match CLC as a group, but this also isn't it. AKA, let's make something we can just put in a corner somewhere and we will never have to look at it again. In this tier we have BTS, Monsta X, Wonho, Victon, Super M and SF9. I'm not gonna go over all these logos one by one because my opinion on them is the same. I don't think these logos are bad. I just think they are quite boring and basic. You know, me saying classic is basically me saying this is a very easy way way out. And I know BTS and Monsta X's logo have a deeper meaning. Wonho's logo probably also has a deeper meaning because it's Wonho we are talking about. But for all of these logos, they are logos you just put in a corner somewhere because they literally don't fit anywhere else. For Monsta X, it's really a shame though. The logo they use for the code till we are here, so Dramarama era till alligator era, was much better because you could actually use it as an element in your design, which they actually did with stuff like this. In this tier we have logos I'm basically neutral about. They are okay, I don't have a bad opinion about them. They are nice to look at and look good in most of the designs, but they also aren't groundbreaking in my opinion. I picked two logos, 17 and Everglow. From this tier I wanted to say something about. The other logos in this tier, which I am not gonna explain any further, are WeEye, Red Velvet, EXID, Wavy, Luna and Red Square. So starting with 17, the way they added the 1 and the 7 have been done in a creative way, but at the same time I don't get all the praise K-pop stands give this logo because it's just very basic typography. If it wasn't for the use of some typography, I would have put this in the classic tier because it's quite big and bulky and just not my personal taste. For Everglow, I'm not too sure what the actual logo is, but instead of the problem I had with shiny and lovelies, this doesn't bother me too much since I could find 4 logos that are all made in the similar style. The different logos match very well with each other, so using them randomly will still show people which group it is and it won't cause any confusion to them. I don't know if this was done on purpose or if they are all different logos for the different comebacks, but the company was definitely smart enough to make it the same style. Same with the previous tier, I don't have that big of an opinion on these logos, but I do like them. I will just quickly go over all of them. First off, we have Twice. At first their logo might seem a bit more cutesy, but I don't really think it is. The fact they didn't change their logo when they started to do more mature concept shows this logo will good in most cases. So Wikimiki, it's cute, it's easy to use, it is a font which I know some K-pop fans have something against, but we will come to my opinion about those logos later. Anyway, I think this is custom made and I think people should appreciate this more. Yeah, in my opinion it's an underrated logo. Staying in the same company we have Astro. The logo is again cute. I don't know if they already do this, but they should kind of start using it as a graphic element in their design. It would look really nice if they did. It matches well with the name, so I don't have any complaints about this logo. Moving on to WJSN. I think they also changed their logo every comeback. They did have some which are a bit less in my opinion, but that's mainly because of the thickness of the lines they are using and it isn't always the same in the elements of the logo. Stuff like that are a bit of a pet peeve to me when it comes to logos or icons that are made like this. Either way, it isn't too cute and it goes very well with the more elegant stuff they are doing lately. So overall I think it's a cute logo. I didn't really know whether to include FX or not, but since I also included BIP, I really like how simple this logo is and the way they merge the elements of the letters with the brackets is really smart. For Chungha's logo, I like the moon on its own a bit more than together with the font. Why? The U and the N confused me a little bit when you put them together. Other than that, it's very original. With TXT's logo, it's a bit of a shame. I love their first logo, the one with the blue and the yellow, but their other logos are a bit less to me. I do like the current one, but still not as much as I like the first one. G-Friends is another group that changes their logo with every comeback. I will admit the ones from Glass Beat till Fingertip aren't really my cup of tea, but the way they evolve it every time time with each comeback is such a smart concept because they make it look like chapters of a story. For example, you can see Time of the Moonlight, Sunny Summer and Sunrise as sub-stories inside the same chapter. And then we have Fever, which can be seen as some sort of connecting chapter to both Sunrise and Labyrinth, since it still has the round shapes of the previous logos, but at the same time it starts to look more straight and minimalistic like the next logo. And the Labyrinth logo evolves into Apple, Apple into Marrow, which again makes it look like those three logos are part of the same story. And since GFriend also has this storyline going on since debut, I find it very smart. They also show it in their logos. For the last one in this tier, we have Dreamcatcher. If you're here waiting for me to scream cultural appropriation, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just here to rank some logos. Besides that, it's not my place to call this cultural appropriation since, as I said before, I am Dutch and I'm not Native American. But if you wanna know what actual Native Americans think about cultural appropriation in K-pop, I have a video linked in the description about that topic. With that being said, Dreamcatcher's logos always look good. I'm not necessarily a fan of older logos since some tend to go a bit too much into details, but that's personal taste. And their design team clearly knows how to use their logos. I mean, even if they put them in a corner for the concept photos, they will use it as an eye-catching piece in something else. So they balance that out pretty well. This is probably my favorite tier because I think I might annoy some K-pop stans by putting these logos quite high. In this tier we have the font or actually typeface logos. So Blackpink, ENHYPEN, iKON, 80s, Sunmi, Lucy, ITZY, Ace, ONEUS, ONEWE. I'm probably a bunch more, but these are the ones I could think of. I'm not gonna explain them all separately because my explanation about this tier is basically the same for every logo. Why did I put these kinds of logos so high? I don't know if this is a graphic designer thing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I love some good typeface. I can go crazy for good typography. And it's just such a fun and pleasing thing to make an image with letters. And that's basically what these logos are. I know quite some K-pop stans that don't like these logos because they think they are too simple. But the simplicity of them just makes them so great. And if you want to add that tiny bit more spice, you can always add small elements that match with your concept. Like ONEUS did with the moon above the N. But back to the why, you can basically fit these types of logos in any concept. Maybe not for a fragile ballad, but a fragile ballad is usually not a good choice for a title track anyway. To be honest, I could probably go on for hours why these logos are actually so amazing. They will look good in any color. Even if you put them in a corner, they will look good. You can put them anywhere and it will look good. You can use them as a graphic element rather than being an obvious logo. I just love logos like this. And lastly, we have my personal favorite logos. Let's start off with Mamamoo's logo. I think this is probably the most surprising one out of all of them. If you ignore all the elements they somehow like to add to the logo, like the crown and the sun and the moon stuff, this is very simple but also very great. I wish they would stop adding the extra stuff to it. This logo on its own could be such a cool graphic element for a poster. Imagine every concept photo and just having the logo in white on its side sticking from the bottom up and have some text next to that. I would love to see them using it with something like that. The second logo in this tier is B2B's logo. Again, I think this would be such a nice element to use in your design. I also love how you can see it as two B's together or just as a play button, and with both their name Born to Beat and their fandom name Melody being music related names. I think it's a really smart move to also show it in your logo. Moving on to Ha Sung-woon. I'm sorry if I didn't say that properly, but I'm going to be honest, I still don't quite get the meaning behind it on part of Seungwon's name, meaning cloud, and that's why it's a cloud, but it just looks adorable, and again, it would look great as an element in your design and not just only as a logo. The meaning for the last logo in this video took me quite some time to figure it out, since it always seemed pretty random to me. The logo is very pretty but also very random. The logo I am talking about is Idol's logo. Honestly, I just love this logo. I think this is probably my number one logo out of all the K-pop logos. Now, I, as probably more people, was quite clueless about what this logo meant for the longest time, until I found out it was basically just an eye from Idol, and the other three things are the dul in Korean but sideways, and how they made their logo in the light stick and in the Neverland logo is just too cute to be true, if you ask me. You also have so many ways of using this logo in your design, but Cupid just being cute and ignoring all the possibilities of this logo other than for Neverland and the light stick. Anyway, I just love this logo. So these were all the logos for this video. I'm sorry if I missed your favorite, but I just couldn't include every single K-pop logo ever made. If you have any questions about this video or my opinion on a logo, feel free to ask them in the comments. And also don't forget to comment your favorite K-pop logos down below. And thank you for watching this video.